Hello everyone, no respawns here, hope you're doing well. So this is my mod review of the Frequent Flyer Housing mod. A mod that's on the Bethesda mods page. This is actually on all platforms as well, I did check. So you can get it on PS4, Xbox One and PC. Obviously, as I play on PS4, this will be a PS4 mod review. So that means there may be some discrepancies. I imagine the mod dev will actually mention it in the description. The ones I can think of is anything that would involve external scripting. Namely, well, just for example, this one, you still can't link it to the other settlements via a supply line. Not really much for this if you have the Freemaker mod, because obviously then you can just magically create all of your resources. However, it's pretty cool. I've mentioned this before, but I really love the idea of crashed planes as a kind of player settlement. And I'm quite pleased with this one. There are a few issues which I'm going to kind of draw attention to. This one is made by Satan's Housewife. I just wanted to address how awesome name that is. But yeah, it's quite a cool mod. So where it is it's on the western side of the map, kind of just southwest of Fort Hagen. It's actually like a short dash away from the Blood Clinic or just Fort Hagen there, so it's pretty easy to find. It's automatically added to your map as an undiscovered location, so that's good if you don't want to be slightly law-breaking. And, you know, for example, because the barge is the one I'm thinking of, because it adds a fast travel marker straight away, so it just kind of, if you're starting a new game, it kind of feels a little bit cheaty that you can just kind of miss the slog away from, you know, taking that long journey, that long slog through the kind of greater Boston downtown area, which, as you know, when you're low level is quite difficult at times and therefore fun. Now, I did check because I wasn't too sure with the barge mod that I reviewed about a week ago. I didn't realise that a lot of the stuff that had already been placed there was actually already pre-existing. I assumed the mod dev had just kind of made the whole thing themselves. I didn't realise this. So what I did, when I got to this location, I disabled this mod, and this whole thing disappeared. So this is, in fact, completely made by the mod dev. Now, I want to stress that before I just gush a bit too much, because I didn't realise this again before, is that a lot of these, I imagine if I went to a crashed plane throughout the game, a lot of this exact kind of layout of the chairs and all that bullshit would be exactly the same. So obviously they have just kind of picked up these aeroplane parts and just plopped them down, but still it looks very natural and blends into the area quite well. And before I kind of look at the plane proper, the build area is quite large. Let me show you. Now, I've actually got my HUD disabled, by the way, so you won't actually see it do the countdown, but the edge of the map is a little bit over here, so you can see the green line. If I just go over here, it will disappear in a few seconds. Is actually much further. However, that it should cut down. Yeah. So it is a little bit glitchy on that side. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that might be due to my other mods conflicting and causing this to happen. Because this same thing has started happening in Warwick Homestead, notably, where the build area looks like it's bigger than it actually is. It's not too much of an issue, because obviously you'd have the HUD enabled and it would just give you the countdown. But this one, for example, is quite far over here. Another cool thing about this one, is I'm just seeing now, is, and I've mentioned this before, with a lot of the mods which add, especially for PS4, that add a new settlement, as you can see, like here with this one, a lot of the stuff isn't scrappable, which is really annoying. The one that always sticks out to me, there's one that does the reservoir just outside of Vault 81, and I couldn't scrap anything, like, not literally everything, but like nearly everything was just completely unscrappable. Now for this mod, obviously you saw some of those trees, and I know for a fact that these trees you can't scrap, but more or less everything near the plane you can scrap. I've obviously got the scrapping mod enabled as well, so for example it's adding things like a lot of the bushes I can get rid of now. Yeah, see, so that's just worth bearing in mind. But I just do like the fact that they've clearly put quite a lot of effort into this one to kind of make it so you can actually turn the area into what you like. Now, according to the mod dev, you can't send companions here yet, but that seems to be quite a kind of continuous issue with, at least on PS4. So that doesn't really bother me so much. Again, and also you can't link it to the, like, if I go to the map here, it's not under the workshop tabs at all. But I don't know if this is just a PlayStation 4 thing, or it's still got the same bug as well, where it's saying that my my settlements are just missing stuff. They're not. They're not. But yeah, so that's worth bearing in mind. However, that again doesn't really bother me, because for a lot of these kind of mods, I would probably use them as just a player home. Like, for example, in my mind, this would be if you want to play a survival game. You know, this is actually pretty well central as well, and you can just turn it into kind of a nice little you-only area. Anyway, let's quit my bullshit and actually kind of go explore. So, you can obviously build everywhere around here. According to the mod dev, these suitcases and stuff outside of that main player home there, they respawn, so it's not recommended to use them for storage. However, once you go inside these containers, well, the ones, they've got various ones around here, they don't respawn, so you can safely store stuff in these. Now, I want to show you, because there are a few bugs with this one. Just a pro tip that I think the mod dev should take into mind here. Okay, so you notice that, and you notice that. That's because these are external. This lighting is added by the mod developer. Which means, if I try and delete these, which I'm going to do now, the light still floats. There's also a bathtub inside, over here, which is pretty cool. That actually has water in it. I've hid the UI, so you can't see, but you can actually, if I just go, you can drink out of here, which is pretty cool. Now, apparently, I don't know if maybe you say, but you can just delete that bathtub as well, and obviously that leaves the water there as a floating element. Something to bear in mind. However, I'm not bothered by that at all. One thing I would say to the mod dev is maybe, for the sake of just, at least for these ones seem fine. But may I suggest, Satan's housewife, that you just completely delete these lamps here. Just like, when your next update for the mod, just get rid of them. Because, yeah, that looks really awful. That would be the only thing that really sticks out for me. That and maybe this door here, I think, was just a poor choice because it looks obviously a little bit ridiculous. I would have probably used the mesh door. However, that's just me. But regardless, other than that kind of slight error there with the lighting, the whole area itself looks really cool. Also, this safe does look a little bit silly because obviously it's a floor safe. However, there's nothing underneath it. But the actual area itself is really, really cool. You know, this is exactly how I would imagine. Oh god, these light sources are fucking awful though. Mod dev, just get rid of all of them. Get rid of the light sources. Let us place down our own ones. Much better idea because it's way too bright. But yeah, no, it's really, really nice. Ignoring, I said, the couple of areas here. I think, to be honest, they could probably quite easily tweak the light sources so they weren't so ridiculous looking. It's quite cool. It looks like something Bethesda would add themselves. I said there are a few kind of tweaks I'd make. The good thing is you can scrap it. They do recommend not scrapping certain things. They don't go into many reasons of the why and the how, which is weird. However, I, for example, would probably scrap this ladder because it's a bit too thick and then replace it with one of the ladders here. So, for example, if I were to just get rid of that now and then probably I would possibly do this one here. So I'd go and replace it with one of the, sorry for the slight lag in my, I'd probably replace it with, say, one of these thin ladders here, just because I think it'd probably difficult as well. See, the problem I'm going to have, and that's why they mentioned not to delete it, is you can't, I'm wondering actually, let me just double check here for you, because I haven't checked this. Can we place, oh god, I've got to use something that uses a cap instead. There we go. So, okay, this is something I didn't notice with this mod, which is kind of annoying, is that they appear to not... Okay. So, okay. So, anything that is a player structure, so, for example, I'm assuming I can put stuff up there. Yeah, see, it goes green. So, anything that's buildable in the workshop menu, you can actually build upon. Whether by the looks of things, anything that is effectively is not a workshop structure. So basically these planes, obviously, for example, you can't actually build on at all, which is a real shame, and that kind of lessens the mod a little bit in my eyes here. It's something you could easily fix, because I know Andrew CX, the mod dev for the Unlock Summon Objects mod, has now made it so that, for example, all of the housing in... So if I go to the USO mod here, and I go to Structures... I'm going to like MISC buildings. He's now changed it so that you can actually build inside these, for example, these trailers here, and anything else. So basically, I like this look of this mod quite a lot, but there are more issues than I was expecting with it, even to the point where I didn't notice that one there. So if you're looking for a player home that kind of maybe is a little bit minimal effort, as I said, this is kind of the place that you maybe want to, if you don't want to necessarily build anything, and you want something that just is a kind of quite a safe player home for you to use, but maybe you can tweak and edit a little bit yourself, this is definitely a really good one. In terms of, obviously, my criticisms for it, outside the fact that, you know, it does look stunning, let's be honest, and I think that's maybe why this won't bother too many people, and why it is quite a high-rated mod already, is the fact is that they have obviously put a huge amount of effort into making this settlement and this player home look cool. However, these light sources are just kind of silly, but it also might just be the time of day. The fact that at least this area here isn't designated as an area I can build is frustrating, because it means that, yeah, you know, I can't really... I mean, I can probably, for example, decorate these walls, I imagine. I'm almost certain, actually, so I can probably put posters up. But, for example, I wouldn't be able to put a bobblehead stand here, or shit like that, which is a little bit of a shame. But other than that, I like the mod so far. I think it's frustrating when you're trying to review a mod that, yeah, so you can put stuff on there, that's grand. It's frustrating when you try to review a mod when I myself don't actually create mods. So obviously I don't know the ins and outs, the can and cannots, especially regarding PS4 mods in terms of what we can and cannot do in terms of fixing stuff. There's also, while I'm talking on, there's also this area down here as well. It's counts as, it's not actually a separate area as such. It's basically just a kind of self-contained little kind of just downstairs area. You can also build in here as well, and it contains this little kind of storage area here. So it's pretty cool. As I said, this mod, I quite like it. I'm a bit shocked with how many, not bugs, I mean, that's unfair of me, maybe a little bit more critical than I really should be. But basically, in essence, if you want a player home that's kind of quite minimal effort on your part, quite a bit more survivalist and kind of unique, definitely check this one out. Be aware of the limitations in terms of building inside the plane. However, because you can build around the plane, and obviously we still have access to our various glitches, it wouldn't be too difficult to really customize the outside of that plane quite a bit to make it your own in this kind of weird, scrappy, wonderful wasteland monstrosity. And obviously there are the issues as well with not being able to send provisioners here or companions. However, it's quite a cool settlement in and in itself. For example, you could still pop down junk and stuff like that on the shelves, and you could also just drop stuff down and just kind of manually move stuff in place. Anyway, I hope you guys found this one interesting. As always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'm going to try and keep an eye on all of these player home mods and try and kind of find interesting ones. I'm going to try and maybe do slightly less popular ones from now on, I think, and try and dig up kind of less known mods. So if you yourself were a mod dev who have kind of made quite a cool player home that you want to show me, definitely either send me a link here, or even better, probably send me a couple of pictures of it on Twitter, because it's a little bit easier for me to check. And also, to be utterly honest, I'm always checking Twitter constantly anyway. I'll have a building video up soon. I'm also going to try and finish Creep Manor, and I'm also going to be doing an Astroneer video as well, and start kind of pumping out the non-Fallout content. You guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you lovely people soon. You take care.